Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show. Tonight we have Matt from Georgia. We have Eric from New Hampshire. We have Jay back in Jay's home studio in
studio, back from Torrance, California.
Yeah.
Beautiful Torrance, everybody. If you know, you know. If you don't look it up.
Hey, man, it's warm. That's all I know. That's what's nice about it.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Boston John is not here. He may join us later. I don't know. But why don't we go ahead and do the record roundup anyway at the top of the show?
Sounds like a plan.
Who would like to go first?
Matt would love to go first.
Okay, Eric. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, go for it,
and you know what? With this particular artist, I was, I'm surprised unless I missed it. Maybe they do have a greatest hits already, but I was trying to find a good representation of an album with a lot of bangers. So I went with one that came out in 2010, and this is from the pop genre, hip hop, R&B, talking about Rihanna. And the album I chose was Loud. And Rihanna has given us a lot of good music for our parties, for our events. This album in particular has a few hits on it, such as S&M, What's My Name, Cheers, Only Girl, California King Bed, and also it has the Love the Way You Lied, the one she did with Eminem, one of the ones she's done with Eminem. So I thought that was a good representation of just how often Rihanna comes out with an album. It's not just one of these one song's going to sell the whole thing sort of affairs here. It usually hits all the way through. So
was that 2010? About?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when did Take a Bow come along? Wasn't that right around there too?
I think so. And for a while there, it seemed like she was coming out with one every year or two. So, I'll get back to you on Take a Bow.
But I thought it was right around. She was actually pumping albums out rather quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
she got on me with SOS. That's where I was like, who is this? Mm-hmm. This is really cool. SOS.
That was the first one.
Rihanna. Yeah.
That was the first one I had heard too. Yeah. And she had one album before that with Ponder Replay on it. But
that was
SOS was in 06.
That's the first thing I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. DJ.
Take a Bow was Good Girl Gone Bad, and it came out in 2007. That also had Umbrella on it and Don't Stop the Music.
Yeah.
So
wow,
it just seems like whatever Rihanna album you pick up, you're going to have something to play at your events on it.
I never would have guessed that it would have been before 10.
Yeah, Matt, she's consistent and has always had product that we can use.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because Don't Stop was a big banger out here along with SOS, and Umbrella didn't get quite as much. But to be consistent, Matt, is one of the true forms of being a professional. Like consistent is when we all show up here on time. Hi, John.
Hi, let me take my jacket off and make myself comfortable.
I thought you were a DJ event planner out there for a second. I'm so sorry, sir.
At least I don't do the coordination. The cake's going to happen exactly at 7:05.
Put the leather jacket back on. That looked better.
I know, man. I just rolled in the door. Nice to see you guys. Please carry on.
What's going on, John? We figured you would eventually join, so we're happy to see that you're safe and sound. Tell Fonzie I said hello. I saw the jacket.
Absolutely.
Matt just shared a nice Rihanna album.
Loud.
He was the first. Yeah, Loud.
I like her. People slept on her for a long time, but she was always
I tried, but she never returned my calls.
Yeah, well.
She's consistent.
I wish I did, yeah.
I'm not, one to jump on artists after I turned 30, new recording artists, but I was on board with Rihanna right away. I like that.
I don't think we got the good stuff right away. We got like, come on, Rude Boy. It was like, and then another one came
Don't Stop the Music was 2007.
Yeah, that's a great.
She was established at that point. She was.
Was that the Chris Brown period?
Yeah.
Is that really? I mean, it's not musically, but it got her name way out there with that Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Well, like International Lover, and I was like,
she was very relevant before that.
No. She was, but I think she jumped up in because you got to realize, as you know, Brian, better than anybody, there's music we know, and then there's music that they know. and they being the general populace,
Mm.
you know, let's be blunt. If you guys haven't seen this yourselves, I don't know what gigs you're doing. My Taylor Swift playlist has gone up 600 million%.
Yeah.
So has her bank account.
Right.
Yeah.
And exactly. But that's the thing. So when artists get a pump in press, they tend to also get something in the way of requests, because you're going to get the random
Perhaps.
coming up with like, hey, could you play Taylor Swift? Or, hey, could you do this? Or Rihanna. Like, I probably play Rihanna every event I do,
Yeah.
but she's such a staple in wedding
Right.
dance music that I
Yeah.
just forget. Oh yeah,
But that
Calvin
wasn't what we were
Harris
getting.
song,
We were
Found
getting-
Love is Rihanna.
We would get ooh nah nah, what's my name? I was like, kind of a sleeper, you know. And it's like, if you're in a hip hop set, it works. But the stuff when David Guetta got on board and
Right.
she was getting those,
Right.
then it was like,
Mhm.
oh,
Well, and then she
okay.
got the Sia catalog going, and it was like, oh, wait a second. Now Sia's on fire and doesn't want you to know what she looks like. By the way, check out 07 with Sia if you want to know what she looks like, because she didn't have a problem for those 5 years. You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
it just became a staple. So, I mean, she's been consistently really good.
Yeah. I agree.
That might be what we have to do when we all become, 70-plus-year-old DJs. Maybe we don't want anybody to know what we look like. We wear a helmet.
A quick run around the room, though. She did the halftime performance last year. Pregnant or not, wasn't the issue. I thought she could have done more. I thought with her voice, her catalog, she could have really just like Prince sort of set the bar, in my opinion, as
Yeah.
far as throw banger, banger, banger. Oh, here's 2 covers. They're going to crush you. And then banger, banger, banger. And I thought Rihanna kind of made it more of a dance festival than it was just giving us just my opinion.
I think a lot of them are doing that now. Like,
I was a little disappointed.
The focus they put on, I think, because of that elevated stage, that platform guitar that was held up by chains, it's kind of like, you set your set list, but then again, you have to do the theatrics and put on the show.
And then there's the whole,
that's not comfortable.
there's the whole, they're doing it for free aspect too.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's your opportunity with the biggest crowd
Agree.
you're ever going to have.
She's
really
established.
have an opportunity to just bang it out.
It's like when Prince went out. He went out because he wanted to go out. I mean, and everybody was already on board and really excited because the guy does legendary shows. So
Right.
of course,
By the way,
it's going to be great.
I saw the producer for the Prince Super Bowl halftime.
Yeah.
He produced the entire Super Bowl that year, and he met with Prince and said, hey, you need to understand something. We've got rain in the forecast. It's almost inevitable. I'm really concerned. Is it footwear? What are we going to do? But I'm just telling you the truth. It looks like it's going to rain. And apparently the quote from Prince himself was, can you make it rain harder?
he didn't care.
Because the interview I saw with him, they said, you worked with Prince, you worked with this one, like he's Grammys, he's done Oscars, he's produced all these famous things. And he said, what's the one thing they all have in common? He goes, honestly, they're the most comfortable when they're doing what they do. And they absolutely have no issues with it. He's like Prince at the Super Bowl. We told him, hey, it's going to rain. And his comeback was, can you make it rain harder? Because he understood he had a job to do. And he understood what his job was. And he went out there and, just crushed it. If you haven't seen the Prince Super Bowl performance, and some people haven't, please spend 10 minutes on YouTube, look it up, and you will be blown away.
Like, you already brought this young lady's name up, Taylor Swift. She loves when it rains during her concerts.
Yeah.
She's
And I give her a lot of props for that.
out there, right? Playing the
And
piano.
she wears heels, by the way. She's not wearing like sneakers. Yeah.
Didn't Garbage do the song I'm Only Happy When It Rains? Wasn't that Garbage?
That was Garbage. That was Shirley Manson and Garbage, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, with the great drummer, producer extraordinaire.
So, John, do you want to go now since you're finally here?
I got something pulled aside.
Oh.
I do have one.
Ooh, passive
Give me that
aggressive
much.
Brian with now that you're finally here.
Wait a minute! Didn't you break his balls coming in the door? I was just
drive
kind of
so
joining
fast.
in.
Not passive.
I think we should make.
By the way, real quick, I got to say this.
Oh God, here he goes.
Hold on, Eric.
Come on, Jay, let's hear it.
Yesterday, and it was the best. It was the best example of passive aggressive. I had to talk to somebody at work yesterday, and I said, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna shoot this video." The video had like 1 million views. We're really excited, so we're gonna use the same format. Oh, I know, it's crazy how that works. Like, I did this one video, had 900,000 views, and he left the room. And Pulse looks at me and he goes, "Okay, that was passive aggressive." So I look up the videos and I go, "Yep, he's right. 891,000 views. Let's look at our video. Oh, 1.7 million on one platform. Let's go to the other platform. Okay, 798,000 views. His video. Oh, 2,803. Oh, oh."
Confidence across the platforms. Passive aggressive or not, hey, that's the secret sauce, and that makes it work. Then you do what you do best.
Yeah,
just letting you know.
All right, now that you're
who's in the room.
John.
Let John and his purple shirt go.
Yeah, no, it's black and orange. I guess makes purple. I grabbed some rockers because we didn't. I don't think I brought this band up, and it's just a matter of time before Jay gets around to them. So I wanted to talk. This is 84 to 87 pocket, and we're in the heights of the hair bands. I brought two that I could grab real quick. I got Tooth and Nail, and I got Under Lock and Key.
Both amazing.
This is Tooth and Nail is the other. This is the height of power ballads and bands that came out to tease you with some rock and roll songs, and then you buy the record and there's 2 or 3 songs on there that your girlfriend's really going to like and want to go to that concert with you. The bands that were good at it: Skid Row, White Lion,
White Snake.
Don Dokken was the thing. They're kind of in the Motley Crue syndrome. Like, he's lost a little bit of his edge as far as a vocalist, but he had an amazing guitar player, very talented band.
Didn't he go country for a while?
No, that's Ron Keel you're thinking of.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ron Keel
guy.
and yeah.
Don Dokken
Don actually did the backup vocals on Scorpions' Blackout.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I almost grabbed that album tonight. Yeah,
he did a ton of background.
He's been around a minute.
And some lead. He had a great voice when it was.
He has a very, very airy falsetto, which is kind of different than any other, like the real squeal singers. He's not a Sebastian Bach because he doesn't try to be. He's got like a peak range note that he can hit, which was maybe Vince back in his day, or you think of where the ballads, the rock ballads were all hitting, but that. All right, so let's just take a quick run through the catalog. You obviously knew Tooth and Nail.
Right.
Alone Again was the big ballad that everyone wanted.
Breaking the Chains was on there too.
Breaking the Chains.
No, Breaking Chains on the first album.
Yeah,
was it?
Back
it's on the first album.
Alone Again.
Paris is Burning.
Alone Again was the big one. Then 87 record I thought was really good, and that's one of the ones I got here. Burning Like a Flame. Got radio play. Night by Night's an awesome song. Heaven Sent. Just great guitar work. It's just solid writing, and it's just like something that's good content. It doesn't just feel like a puff piece. That's why I always like Dokken kind of as a man's like, oh, well, men like, Metallica and Anthrax. We don't like Dokken. I'm like, no, Dokken's got something. There's some substance. Because you could play that to a mixed crowd, and if I snuck in something like Alone Again during a cocktail, no one would bat an eye. It's like it just.
No, I think they'd be fine with it.
Be like,
George Lynch was talented.
What a pretty voice this man
has. Yeah. Aside from the guitar solo, it could be Journey.
It's Journey to 11. Yeah.
If you brought it down, George Lynch actually was an instructor at the same place because he replaced a young guitar player named Randy Rhoads. So when Randy left to join Ozzy, George Lynch came in and started teaching guitar at the same studio that Randy's mother, Dee, owned. And then for about 6 months, George went on tour with Ozzy after Randy's death as a possible replacement, but his look didn't have it. Like, that's how, much like Kiss would not hire a guitar player that had blonde hair.
So I got to ask this question. Eric, can you give us a metal intermission? Because Jay is going to go that route too.
I know
he's going to.
I don't. Oh, yeah. You don't want a metal one, right?
Well, I'm just saying, if you got a metal one, that's fine. But I was wondering, because Jay's going to go
Oh, I got something for you.
Flygon kick or something.
Oh, I got something big for you tonight and a big announcement.
All right. Well, I'm not going to go. Now,
So I got news.
Okay.
all right. So
Man.
let Jay go last.
He's going to go funk or something. I know Eric. Eric's going to be
Well,
like,
hey, you know what? I'm actually.
You should go with what you talked to me about last night because that was good.
I kind of am, but not.
don't
really.
wussy out.
I'm
Don't
doing
man
a
up,
sound.
man up.
I'm doing a soundtrack. Which did I not say that last night, Brian?
Yes, you said you're new to soundtrack. Yep.
Okay, but we didn't discuss what.
No.
So, if you're listening and watching this show next Easter when it is,
You know.
and you're a new DJ, and you're wanting to find something to put in your playlist, put your earpods in now and listen to whatever you're listening to, because it's not going to interest you. It's not going to help you one bit. I'm doing this for a reason, because we all kind of do bangers. And listen, this was bangers somebody at one point, and this was
Did you
recorded.
say Bangor in Maine?
Yeah, close enough. Yeah. Married to your cousin and no teeth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a feeling we're going to begin going in a circular motion, beginning to ascend. Am I on the right band that we were talking about last night? Is this?
What's the soundtrack?
I want to hear this.
This is the soundtrack. It was recorded in 1964,
Oh,
but released
an amazing year.
1965.
Okay.
So they sat on it for a while before they released it. And obviously, because probably the music and stuff was written before the movie or for the
John
movie.
Gafferty and the Beaver
Right.
Brown Band.
Or the
Thank
Boys
you,
Are.
Eric. I knew it.
No. And it was on RCA Victor record label.
The dog.
Sold over 20 million copies worldwide, which everybody's got that beat by now, I'm sure. However, they also issued soundtracks in German, Italian, Spanish, and French editions.
Better be good, Eric.
Anybody catching on to
Start
this?
the build up.
I'm thinking Beatles.
Sound of
I
music.
thought you were going to go spell. RCA Victor was Elvis, like for a
I'm not
period,
doing
right?
Spiral Staircase. I would
I
have
thought you were going to go with there, because that's what we were talking about last night.
night. Billboard 200 back then. I didn't know they had Billboard in the 60s, but evidently they did.
It
Yeah, they
started in
did.
the 50s, didn't
And
it?
this remained in the
Before.
top 10 for 109 weeks.
Okay. The hell is it?
All right. And behind door number 2 is
So the soundtrack is the sound
Floyd.
of music.
What did I say? What did I say? Sound of music. Yeah.
wow.
Did you say that right? I didn't hear
Yeah,
you.
I
say
did.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did say
sound
that.
of music.
Nice.
This is just something that people don't give credit for. Listen, this was very well published. Do I play it at gigs? Absolutely not. Is it in my playlist? Absolutely not. But when you dig, and what I try to do is dig for something that we don't talk about on the show. And that is definitely the pick for this week, The Sound of Music. I didn't know it did that well, to be honest with you.
I didn't either, but apparently it was well enough to make a musical out of it. And I actually have something on this. My mother worked the Schubert Theater as an usher, and she worked every night for almost 2 years on that show. And this before I was born. My father often said that she was so sick of hearing those songs night after night after night after night
Well, that was
after
show.
night after
Yeah.
night. And she's with the flashlights, and she's at the Schubert Theater guiding people to their seats. And there goes that Sound of Music. And I cannot say my mom was against musicals. She loved Grease and stuff, but just
It was all
repetitive. It'd be like
Every night, too,
every night hearing, and sometimes it was a matinee. Sometimes it's twice a day, and you're sitting through that for 4 hours. And
Well,
it's a thing.
you know what?
So,
Eric brings up a point, and we've had this talk. If you get a quirky theater type group,
Right.
wedding,
It will work.
Yeah.
let me tell
Absolutely.
you, you can dip into Sound of Music, Rent, Cats, Phantom, Mamma Mia. You can dip into all of those, and
Sure.
you
The
will
Disney
get
stuff,
an
too.
Amazing response,
not bad.
The Disney
Yeah, I
stuff.
highly recommend
or the Disney stuff. Absolutely. I played
classic
that
Disney
Rent
stuff.
song like
Oh, Rent.
265,300 days, whatever. And let me tell you, the right
Season of Love, that's called.
Season of Love,
Those
they
looking
will
for that at
hold
home.
hands and start singing, and
Yes.
it becomes a memory.
Yeah.
And our job as an artist DJ is to provide memories. So having Sound of Music, there are tracks in there like Edelweiss.
Yes.
It's a beautiful song.
Now, let me just add this before I close it out.
Yes.
And December 2017, not too long ago, this album stayed 73 weeks on the New Wave charts, right? And it was the 10th best charting album of all time in that country. Can you imagine that?
Where?
In 2017.
Yeah, what country were we in?
What?
In Germany?
country?
Well, what country? What was it?
We're here, Germany.
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
In Norway.
Right,
Norway.
right.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Norwegian.
Norwegian country.
That's,
Yeah.
Not Norwegian.
did I say it wrong? I don't know. Look, I'm
trying to help, kid.
Norway. Yeah.
Norway.
Well, that
I
makes
lit a
sense.
fire, wasn't it
Yeah.
good? No,
Norway.
Norwegian wood. Yeah. Come on.
all right, listen.
Norwegian wood.
You went there.
I was going to end
Look at
it
you,
with
DJ.
a wood, and I screwed it up. I screwed up Norway. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's funny that
It's all
just
of our-
internationally that it helped
Norway.
some power internationally. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was my pick. I hope you enjoyed it, which you
Nice.
probably didn't. But
No.
No, I mean that's good to.
It's not all that goofy, man. I mean, that around that time, I was a little not soon after, like the Sting. Was it Marvin Hamlish or?
Yes.
That was just it was on the
Scott
radio all the
Joplin.
time. It's like Scott Joplin.
We didn't even know who he was. And we got The Entertainer.
I have that
and all
record.
those
I
other
can play that
tracks.
record.
Yep.
It's like, why
You
do
could
I have
that
this
as
record?
an intro today? You could play The Entertainer as
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I haven't heard that in years.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Let's just-
Yeah.
can
Right.
we just clear this up? Tell me how you say this word. Norwegian.
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 That's what I said, and you guys said Norway.
Yeah.
No,
It
the
sounded
country-
like Norwegian.
The country is Norway. The people who are of the country are
Are
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Norwegian shots. That's all.
Norway.
I thought I heard New Ted Nugent. I thought that's
I said Norwegian shots.
In Chinese, it's win, and that NGUY
Yeah,
thing. Just
you
it's
have
just
the
it's a
NG in
W.
front of it.
Just
What's
for the
the-
W. It's Ouija.
What-
Yeah.
What's a Ute? That kind
Yeah.
of thing.
The Utes. They were Utes who listened.
The two Utes.
Norwegian.
Thank
What's
you,
a Ute?
Herman Monster with a cigarette.
Anyway, I closed my case. We're on to the metal with Jay.
No, good record though. Good record, Eric. That's a good
By the
one.
way, just to give you a perspective, Eric,
on, Jay,
talking
rock us
about
like a hurricane.
Billboard charts.
Do it.
Go ahead.
I had to look this up to get the exact number.
Well, you don't think I looked this stuff up too?
No, I know you do, but just to give you a perspective of albums, Dark Side of the Moon was in the top 200 Billboard albums
Yeah.
when it came out from 1973 to 1988 for 741 consecutive weeks.
Yeah, it was there.
Never left the
Just to
chart.
show you how insane.
Like album
in
chart.
How did
fact,
it do?
I guarantee a lot of pop albums today drop off the charts so fast that to get 100
Yeah.
weeks in a row, that's 2 years.
Yeah, but
That was amazing.
how did they do in the Norwegian shots? That's my question.
Right.
Well, in the new Ted Nugent, they did very well. From what I
Let
understand.
me call my cousin Vlad over in the fjords there.
Yeah.
He can tell me what he's picking up at his local record shop this week.
I never know what you guys are going to pick. None of us. do. So
That's the fun of it.
I can't wait till he does Bjork as an artist. That one I'm looking forward to.
But
I love
George would be
George.
fantastic.
I'm already starting to get the information, my friend. Stay tuned.
There she was, sitting there in Iceland. What? Iceland? You mean Iceland?
Man,
No.
you guys are.
Oh,
Yeah,
shut
you
up.
know, I spent all afternoon in IKEA today. And now here.
Oh, you're already looking at signs of
Scandinavia
you
is
can't
like a
pronounce
theme
all day
today.
long.
It just keeps coming and coming.
And stuffed plushed animals like everywhere. Like, why is there like sharks and these
They have good meatballs.
critters all over.
Today we had
Swedish
we had the
meatballs.
Swedish meatballs.
Yeah, of
They
course
had
you
a
did.
special.
Did you
had a
put them
special-
together? Did they come with instructions?
They had a special from
Yes.
Some assembly required.
shut up. They had a special
The
from
meatball.
5 to 7
Yeah.
with the meatballs. We got 15 meatballs, mashed potatoes, and gravy for $3.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's a crazy good deal.
Lingonberries.
So we all got it. Yes. And a little
Yes, you have to
cranberries.
do the special.
The plate of ground hamburger and an Allen wrench.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, or I'm talking. Blanca's eating because she's hungry, and I'm talking to Steve. I'm like, "What do we really know about Sweden?" Like, okay, we
ABBA,
ABBA, Volvo.
Abba,
no, meat.
Europe,
Ghost. Yeah.
Ingve Malmsteen.
Yeah, there's things we know, but not a lot.
Ski bunnies. Yeah.
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 What do we really know about that?
Richest guy, one of the richest guys in the world, owns the building that we're in
Is that
with
true?
bad furniture.
And now I'm here talking about the new
With no escape plan. Yeah.
Hell
Yeah. Oh no, that
I
new.
thought the
Ted Nugent.
Amazon guy.
All right.
Ninja.
That
All
one's,
right, Jay.
that one's the kick.
Come on, rock us like a hurricane. What do you got?
No, but you gave me a good idea. Tomorrow,
Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd.
No.
Been around
tomorrow's
forever.
in a-
I not only have an album, but I have an announcement
Oh,
that this week, I believe Friday is ticket sales. So I am actually going to look into doing something I haven't done in forever, which is buying pre-sale ticket sales for a tour happening next summer.
mm.
Do tell.
I will give you the album after I give you who is on the tour.
Okay.
John Cavity and the Beaver
The
Brown.
tour, I wish. The tour
Usually the
is
right answer.
called The Best of Both Worlds.
Oh,
Let me give you the four guys.
I already know what this
stage.
is.
yeah.
Sammy Hagar,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jason Bonham,
Mm-hmm.
Joe Satriani.
Oh,
They are doing a deep dive on Van Halen
Nice.
and all of the artists in the band's catalogs. And at this point, their show is around 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Wow.
Wow.
I would trust Satch with that.
doing-
Absolutely.
They're doing the early Van Halen along with
Really?
a lot of the Sammy Hagar Van Halen.
Well, best of both worlds.
They have made the announcement they would love it if Alex or Dave would come out to any show and perform.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be
Bringing
great?
Guest
Yeah.
artists to every show to get on stage. And they're mostly looking at guitar players because with Joe Satriani doing Van Halen,
Yeah.
they're going to have every guitarist in the country show up.
Did you put up with
So the
that?
album-
Stevie Vai, maybe. He's the only one that could hold the
Oh, there's a.
Sure.
I heard them, and if I
Petruzzi,
know
right?
Brian has Sirius as well. Sammy was a guest of Howard Stern today, and they played about 10 songs in the studio. And let me tell you, Joe Satriani can do everything Eddie did, and Michael sounds amazing, and Sammy sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Jason Bonham is right on his game. Like it's
He's a monster drummer.
It's going to be an insane tour. So I went
First time,
back
yeah.
in the catalog to the first Sammy, what they call the Van Hagar period,
Yeah.
with 5150,
5150. Yeah.
and forgot that out of the 9 songs on the album, there's 7 really good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. That album's interesting because most people who were listening to the radio were really familiar with side 1. I was a
Yes.
side 2 guy.
Oh,
Side
you
2
were? Okay.
Oh yeah. Side 2 was where the magic happened.
Yes.
That's where it got good to me.
Yeah.
Anyway. And
Well,
I
just.
yeah.
Oh, good. No, go ahead, please.
No, I mean, and I've talked about this before. I have no problem with Sammy Hagar playing with the Van Halen brothers and Michael Anthony.
I didn't either.
I think it was the wrong idea to call the band Van Halen. I think that was the wrong thing to do. But
You know what? I agree with you wholeheartedly. They should have named it a new band.
yeah,
But I think because you had 3/4, it was like, oh, could they do, let's.
Well, it was
keep
just-
the band.
It's name
one
recognition. How do you
project
sell
was over.
records?
Let's start a new one and let's call it something different.
Yeah, you guys mentioned that before. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that doesn't mean I dislike the album. It just means that I was more about the stuff that didn't hit than the stuff that hit.
Right. Well, you look at
didn't hit like Summer Nights. Oh my God.
Sammy's
That's a wonderful song.
That was all over the radio here.
There. Sammy was already doing really, really well. He came out of Montrose, started a solo career.
Yeah, yeah.
He was already doing
No, he didn't. He didn't need Van Halen. Van Halen needed him
the same way they would.
He did not need Van Halen. They needed him.
No, they needed him big time.
Yes.
Let's go over the songs really fast. 5150, great song. Inside, very good song. Good Enough, very good song.
Yes,
Dreams, great song. Best of Both Worlds.
Wonderful.
You know it because it was a single.
Yep.
Summer Nights, as Brian said, a great song. Why Can't This Be Loved? Great song.
Yeah,
first song I heard. Yeah.
Big hit. Get Up, really good song.
Make it work.
This is a really good album.
That's a hard hitting record. If you follow in 1984, it better come out of the gates all guns blazing, right?
It was a different project though. That's my only.
But yeah, it was night and day from '84 to this. Night and day.
It was almost like the cause drama,
where it was like, wait, what's this?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Well,
I went to that. So I'm on the Monsters of Rock tour after that,
and then a fan of Two, and then a fan of Women and Children, because I'm like, oh, this is like the sound that I'm looking for. And then all of a sudden they got into the Diver Down period and went a little nuts. And then Mean Streets came around. I'm like, oh, I like Mean Streets. Oh, this is great. Oh, I mean, Chain, please come on.
You're talking about Fair Warning.
Yes, with Mean Streets and Chain. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, great product. And even after this, they went into OU812. Again, another banger album, but you had a different dynamic. And it was funny to hear the interview today where they were saying, Michael Anthony said, you got to understand, Eddie couldn't count. So Eddie would come in and more or less give us an instrumental. I'd put down the bass. He and Alex were always side by side. So that was already established. Mm-hmm. I did the bass part. And then it was Sammy's job to come in and come up with a melody and words. And you realize how talented Sammy Hagar is to be able to do that. Because these songs, if you take the vocal out, they're really good instrumentals. And now Sammy's got to walk the studio and be like, okay, this is cool. Let me see. This. Like, it's about a 2.5 hour interview, and it's very interesting. And to listen to the band play songs they have not rehearsed and do them really, really well. I can't imagine by next summer with rehearsal time how tight this is going to be.
Only going to get better. Yep.
Oh, it's Joe Satriani is a god anyway, but his ability to take these songs, like at one point, Howard Stern goes, "Hey, let's do this. Let me call out a song. Kashmir." Well, John probably knows this. I know this. Brian probably knows this. Kashmir was played in a tuning called Dad Gag, where a normal guitar tunes E, A, D, G, B, E. Well, Dad Gag is the notes, or is the tuning going from the low E to the high E. So you're going Dad Gag, D, A, D, G, A, D. Suddenly Satriani, with a standard tune guitar, comes up with the fingering and launches into Kashmir. And I'm like, okay, what is this? What kind of crazy satanic voodoo is this?
He's already beat the big boss in the video game. He's already returned it to GameStop.
And
I've already beat this one.
Very humble. I think you're going to see something big.
The weird part about that song, and I love that song, by the way. It's one of my favorite Zeppelin songs.
Probably my favorite Zeppelin song of all time.
Yeah, it's great. I love Physical Graffiti.
It's Robert Plant's favorite Zeppelin song, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You know what makes to me what makes that song
favorite song?
To me, what makes that song is the orchestral arrangement behind it.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
It just gives the song and it's like the duality of the rock groove and the orchestral thing together is amazing. It's just absolutely amazing.
Have you ever seen, Brian, It Might Get Loud? It Might Get Loud is a quick documentary.
I know I have.
Jack White, Jimmy Page, and The Edge from U2.
Yeah.
And at one point he explains, he stands in a room with a guitar in front of The Edge and Jack White, who are obviously fans. And he goes, they say, what about Kashmir? oh, Kashmir was the end of another song, and I did this thing. And John Bonham goes, you should do something with that. And I said, oh, well, this is just a one-off thing because it's a weird tuning. But let me try this and this. And you see these guys with their eyes just
right.
Yeah, like I would be, or you would be around Prince, or John would be around anybody. Like they're just so in love with
it's opening the arc at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like, this is what I'm looking for.
Right.
Yeah. And he explains the dad gag tuning came from this Indian art thing, and it was a world music, and I thought I'd try this, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, it's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. But the best part of it is Joe Satriani throughout is so humble. I'm so lucky. I'm just excited. Eddie was a god. I'm doing my best to make it as perfect as I can. And yeah, if you get a chance, if you go online, I guarantee you'll find on YouTube, TikTok, wherever, videos of today's performances. And by the way, it's at 7:00 in the morning, and Sammy Hagar's singing really well. He's breaking up in the higher range, and he says, "I'm really sorry. My voice isn't warm at 7 a.m.
Was he 78
you get me at night?"
No, I'm not joking. Isn't he 78?
Yeah.
76.
76.
I mean, poor Eric's like 76. The guy barely. Eric, you're not. What? Oh no, not Eric.
Not quite.
I mean, like you look around at the people we know in their 70s. They're not on stage.
I know he's the same age as Bill Clinton. It was like, so those two are like, their birthdays are real similar.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just gives you some perspective as to who this guy is.
Yeah,
and
next summer we're going to be playing some Van Halen, and it's going to be focused on the 5150 OU812. What was the pound cake for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge?
I think so.
Yeah, the red covered one. I think it's for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Yeah,
is the actual title of the album.
Yes. Now,
I like Balance That Came Later too. That was a good record.
If I would have been a betting man, I would have probably put a couple $100 down on sometime during tonight's broadcast, Jay will say the name Joe Satriani. I don't know why I thought that, but I knew that all day. He's going to talk about Joe Satriani. I know he's going to.
Did you hear the interview?
No, I did not. I just had this intuition, I guess, or I knew you were going to bring up Joe Satriani. So I could have banked on that if I'd have bet on it.
Okay. Call Vegas next time, baby.
The other thing I will say is if I thought for 1 millisecond that Eric was going to break up the metal with The Sound of Music, I'd have skipped his ass.
Yeah. No, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming.
With The Sound of Maiden. Yeah.
I didn't even see that coming.
Better run to them.
Just playing with you.
Next week he does Barbara Streisand, like the way
I actually like Barbara Streisand.
I do too, but I think
as long as he doesn't do like Funny Girl or something, I'm fine. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
but I think he's trivia question tonight.
Yeah. What do you want from me? More metal? Forget it. It's not going to happen.
Right.
You might as well have done
more. The chat.
This out.
Yeah.
You might as well have done it.
What do you want?
I'm paranoid too.
Would anyone like to hear my lame pick this week? Because
we didn't do Brian's yet.
Yes. I'm going to actually mix it up a little bit because I've got an album. Really, the only reason I pulled this album is for 2 songs that I really, really like.
Barbara Streisand.
And who produced those 2 songs and how awesome they are. And that would be the Diana album produced by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards, who wrote the 2 songs on here. That the only reason I'm pulling this album up, everything else is like, it's good, but this album is worth it just for these 2 tracks. I'm Coming Out and Upside Down.
Upside Down. Yeah.
Those are chic songs, essentially.
Never going away. Those are
they're
bangers.
Chic songs with Diana singing vocals on them.
Going to be around forever, those songs.
Yeah, those are big tunes. And again, Diana Ross, I guess she sat down with Niall and Bernard. She'd met him at Studio 54 or whatever. And she literally said to him, hey, I want to do something totally different in this next album. I want to turn my career upside down. And that's why they wrote the song Upside Down.
Yep.
because of that conversation.
Wow.
They're big
thought
on
that's
conversation
pretty interesting.
writing, aren't they? Like
Yes.
Freak Out
That's
was
a nugget.
fuck off.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
When
I guess
did that album come out?
80,
Probably in your 80s. Yeah.
Really early 80s.
80
Yeah.
late 80s.
Does that have
81.
muscles?
No,
Oh, that's another.
no.
I think that
Muscles
followed.
was on the same the boss, I think.
Right around when Olivia did Physical, I think that's when
But that came
think
out
everyone
shortly
started
thereafter, right?
Yeah, I think it's on the boss.
Like a year later or something. Because I remember in college, that song was blowing up
yeah,
in
yeah,
82,
yeah.
83. And
Yeah.
I was like a huge fan. And it was one of those tracks you had to not show you were a huge fan of in public. Like, oh my God, I love this. I mean,
That was a really
Yeah.
good song.
I'm
Sexy.
going to get
ass
another
song.
shot
Yeah.
at Jack if you guys love this song.
Take that, Prince. Yeah.
No,
It's
yeah.
kind of
was
throwing
great.
I
shots
think
across
Michael,
the
Michael Jackson wrote it.
Muscles.
He did.
Yeah.
It was his gift to her.
It's
Yeah.
a great song.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. But
And we all know
yeah,
how
I'm
much.
Coming
it is.
Out and Upside Down. Those are bangers. Bangers.
Yes. Well, yeah.
It stayed the test.
More
of
money,
time,
more
for sure.
problems is I'm coming out. You know, if
Yes.
Puff Daddy and the Family, that's what they used for people like Matt in here who may not know. So
Mo Money. Yep. Mhm.
yeah, but that's I'm coming out.
Oh, yeah.
That's what that
And I Rock the Party that rocks the party is Upside Down. That's what was the name? Cold Rock MC. What was the
I
chick's
don't
name?
know.
I Rock the Party that rocks the body.
I always thought Upside Down was a really, really strong track. Like stronger than it got
It's a good
credit.
song. Well, I mean,
They did well, but
my history of DJing in Hillcrest in San Diego, to play I'm Coming Out at an event was understood. So
it became the anthem for that. Yeah.
It was a huge anthem. So it was like every commitment ceremony, every gay wedding, every pride party, I'm Coming Out. That was a track you could play 2 or 3 times and it got the same response. Nobody was like,
Still today, you could, yes.
it was like, oh, this is our song.
There are tracks on here like My Old Piano and some other ones too that, hip hop has sampled these. And there was even some speculation that Daft Punk off of Discovery ganked some of this stuff. They probably did.
Probably did.
We never.
When you look at the liners on that, is Nile Rodgers on the writing credits?
Yeah, now Rodgers and Bernard Edwards wrote and produced. Yeah, it's right on the back.
Well, now that today Daft Punk announced they're actually not only reuniting but touring next year in the U.S.
Wow.
I just wanted to get you overly excited. They're not. Sorry.
I've never seen them, and I don't even want to see them. I mean, what are they doing? There could be anybody up there in freaking hell.
I know, but I want to go back to the Pyramid show at Coachella because I've seen so many videos and heard so many people talk about it, like Woodstock, that would be like, damn it, that would be a moment in time to go back to.
Yeah.
Because like famous DJs talk about it like, oh my God, I was there. And it's like, it's that one show that everyone says they were there, but there was only like 20 or 30,000 people, but apparently 400 million people were actually there.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yes. I have the Coachella performance somewhere on
it's
the audio.
the famous, what they call the pyramid, because that was the staging where they were way up at the top.
Right.
I would think it's them. And I'll say this again, it has nothing to do with the topics, but if you have not looked up the Call on Me, Eric Prydz documentary on YouTube, there's a guy, I think he's French or English. It's a 45-minute and he walks you through the song and it's 90% of it has to do with Daft Punk.
Oh, yeah.
It started with a French DJ that worked with half of Daft Punk.
Right.
And then it goes to Daft Punk, and then it goes to somehow Eric Prydz, and then it goes, but it gives you some insight into the Daft Punk world. And for me, as an outsider, that, I know Brian's an ecstatic fan of Daft Punk. I liked a couple songs, but Brian got me much more interested in them, especially with his Chop video. And if you haven't seen Brian's Chop video, go to his channel on YouTube. Look up Daft Punk Chop, and he does a Chop video where he plays the sample, makes a loop, speeds it up, and you're like, oh my God, that's the song. Like, where did that come from? And he really got me into looking into samples and chopping. And this one documentary really kind of breaks down a lot of Daft Punk stuff, and it's pretty interesting.
They're brilliant in that regard. I mean,
they're insanely brilliant.
Yeah,
I had no idea there was like 85 samples in one song, kind of thing. Where you're like, okay, they take one half of a bar here and loop it.
Well, they're actually more simple than you think. I mean, so many of the great songs that, even the one that I did a couple weeks ago with you guys, with the one's Flawless, it's 3 tracks put together, but the 3 tracks looped over and over again. It's not like there's 80 samples in it. Now, who does 80 sample songs? Fatboy Slim does 80 sample songs. This is the guy
who can.
Who has 80 different samples, and you don't know what any of them are, and he puts them in a song. That's the guy who does that.
I just saw a movie clip that he stole, and it's a girl yelling at a guy right here, right now.
Yeah.
And that clip is from a movie, and they showed the movie clip, and then they stopped it and they said, sound familiar? And then they went to right here, right now. And it's like, oh my God, that's like, and it's a famous actress. It's not some nobody. It's somebody pretty famous yelling at some guy, grabbing him, going right here, right now. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, where'd he come up with that? Like, I think the mind behind sampling, as much as you can look at it and say, you're stealing, that's not yours. The fact that you can hear something and put it into motion in a new piece of music, I think you should get I think that you should pay for it, but I think you should also get a lot of credit for it.
Well, I think
it's not easy.
Right. I think the ingenuity to do it first. I mean, Fatboy Slim's pretty amazing, but right now is an amazing song. That's just got so much build, so much energy, and lift. Like, it's just I don't know. Yeah, you're kind of blown with that. That's a broad paintbrush. Take bits and pieces of things that and make something new out of it.
Right.
Like from Brighton is a great song from him. It's just like
well, I will say this. I will just put this out there, and you guys do with it what you will. I think early on when we thought about, it wasn't even sampling, but it was the same concept with like Sugar Hill Gang ganking Good Times Chic for Rapper's Delight. It's like, okay, they're talking over someone else's music. So what? And then, it went on with White Lines of Grandmaster Flash. That is Liquid's Cavern. Sugar Hill Gang is actually playing the song note for note. They're not really sampling anything, but it's the same concept of taking someone's work and rapping over it or doing something, where I saw it change, where it went from, it's less about that, and it's more about just using these little snippets of sound as instruments and putting them together in a unique way that no one even recognizes was with stuff like S Express or Mars, Pump Up the Volume. I mean, that's when it was like, okay, wait a minute, this is neat. This isn't just looping, a Led Zeppelin drum beat on a Beastie Boys album, which is cool.
Absolutely.
This is more. This is
right. The stuff's coming out. You're so rapid fire, you can't even keep track of where it's all coming from. It's like just an assault of snippets, chops, and like.
But that's the talent base, because you look at somebody like Will Smith, who's made kind of a little bit of a career out of like, hey, I really like this Patrice Rushen song. Let's just call it.
He's just a beat jacker.
And hey, let's do this song California Love, but we're going to go back to Joe Cocker and we'll just take Woman to Woman. Mm-hmm. And I think there's obviously talent in that. There's obviously an ear in that. And I mean, we lost one of the Isley Brothers.
They had a hit with it. I'll have a hit with it. I mean, that's
the way they got paid for how many Isley Brothers samples were taken.
Yeah.
But if you can take a little bit, if you hear a note in another song and you can construct your own song with it, I think that's talent that's almost just far beyond driven.
Bass line, even. Right. And it's amazing.
But don't steal the whole thing. Like, Best of My Love? You, John. Like that new song, that little boo thing that's floating around. That's like, Best of My Love. It's like, wow.
Didn't B-Rock and the Biz already do that with My Baby Daddy?
Did he?
Who that is? That's my baby daddy. Who that is? That's To Be Real. That's what that is. I'm sorry.
Those are so close together, you'd swear they were written by the same.
Right.
To Be Real and Best of My Love, like, because I tried to mix in and out, and I've done it both ways, and it works.
It works
across
really well.
with blue thing.
Yeah,
Either way, it's fluid either direction. So
now I love the art of sampling. If you just rap over Herb Alpert's Rise, I'm not real excited about that.
Yeah,
I recognize this song.
Fruit at that,
Or even I mean, I love Rob Van Winkle. He's a cool dude, but Ice Ice Baby, it's under pressure. I mean, come on. I know what it is when I hear it, but when I hear Praise You by Slim,
a cup of sugar, and then there's stealing your whole pantry full of sugar.
It was 20 years. It was 20 years before I knew what the B section of Praise You was. I had no idea what that was, and I found out. And now that I know what it is, I can't unhear it. It's the Fat Albert theme song. Nah, gonna have a good time. That's the B side. Nah, gonna have a good. Nah, gonna have a good. That's what he's using. That's cool because I couldn't hear it, but he made it with all these other things behind it, and I'll just
right. And that's what I mean. That's a talent of itself.
Yeah,
to be able to take something and go, oh. And I mean, we talking about Van Halen, we've got Jamie's Crying, and all of a sudden, a number of years later, boom,
Wild Thing.
We got Wild.
What Tone Look Wild Thing? Wow, it's all there, Bob.
But what did he do?
He did it almost in an homage, like here.
But he didn't steal it off the record. He didn't. He took the melody, re-recorded it. He didn't actually take the Van Halen record.
He did not.
It's like
he did not.
I mean, it's difficult nowadays to make something really.
The keys are all different. Yeah.
In the way things are presented. I was watching something the other day, and we all know who Morgan Wallen is, right?
Yeah,
country artist.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you're not
cowboy boots, shorts, that guy.
I just listened to him last night.
Insurance, pineapple T-shirt. Yeah.
Well, guess what? Apparently, there's an audition of him that I just saw the other day from The Voice back in 2014. And the funniest part about it is everyone turned around except Blake Shelton. And yet, here's this guy now, 9 years later, and his career really started a few years ago. So figure 5 years later, bang, that wasn't available to artists 20, 30 years ago.
So hence the Blake Shelton diss track.
Yeah, Blake
on the Morgan Wallen album.
Blake passed on him. That should have told us something, right?
Well, that's it. We use that as a litmus test instead of just simply going, I heard this on the radio. It sounded good. I'm going to go to the record store. I'm going to buy the album. And again, it's what I said before we went on air. The difference between today and 20 years ago with DJs especially is they have much better gear today and a lot of cool lights and sparklers and all this cool stuff. You know why? Because they're not spending 10 cents on music. They're joining a group, a pool. They spend $20 a month, $10 a month, and they're streaming as much as they can.
Right. You talked about that.
Cultivate music, and therefore they don't need to know music.
So let me change the subject since we didn't have a topic tonight. We only got 5 minutes left.
Oh,
okay.
I got a fun one for you. Put your thinking caps on. Think really hard and figure out what the first diss track is you can think of.
The what?
The first diss track.
Third Base against MC Hammer.
Paul McCartney. Too many people.
Well, you stole somebody's record and you looped it. Now you're getting sued kind of stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop Goes the Weasel.
Third Base.
That was like 91 or something like that. Yeah.
I just went back to 71. I just like Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I was going to say John.
Too many people was like ragging on Yoko. So
blew off John because he decided to go back to 25.
You want to take it back?
But in all fairness, that was
in the rap thing.
No. Just
I remember the Eminem ICP war. And
but
they were just that's
I'm just talking.
The only time
Leonard Skinner talking
this
about
track
Neil
was Third Base because their video.
That's good too.
Had
Matt.
them beating up a guy. What do you say? MC Records?
No, Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, Mr. Neil Young. We don't care about your opinion.
Oh, like
we don't need you around anyhow. Yeah,
that's valid.
That's 70s.
They were angry anyway. They had a track called like MCA. They went after the record label.
Yeah.
So I mean, they weren't screwing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Neil Young recorded Southern Man, and that's what pissed off Skinner, and so
yeah,
Skinner was like, "Oh yeah,
then it becomes,
hold my pen." Hold my
I don't know that that's a
Confederate
diss
flag.
as much as just a angry.
Or just talking
Don't do
smack
this.
about somebody in a song, just like blatantly, like naming them and talking smack about them, like just a diss track. Who did it?
Well, could Bye Bye Miss American Pie? There's aspects of that where
They're not dissing anybody in that song. That's more about.
it's about an event, but I'm trying to think. Isn't there a
That's
thing where you
tributary.
kind of-
Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah, that's
no, I guess it doesn't.
that's like the swan song to an era kind of thing.
Yeah, so I
I
guess
was
he's not
kind of rude.
dissing anyone.
Not
in
dissing anybody. He's
particular.
just sad that it's dead, gone.
Right.
Can you think of anything, Eric?
I don't know. God, I'm trying to think right now, but nothing happens.
I came up with one the other day,
Did you?
and it blew my mind. And I think that's exactly what this song is. It's a diss track. It's a
What?
and don't worry about whether or not the character is fictional or not. But it's a diss track. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
I know what he's going to
That's
say.
a diss track.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, in
Nope,
spirit of
I
the
didn't.
holiday season. Okay.
I heard it, and then I
Grinch?
bought Blanca you'd have to see the picture. I bought her a Grinch sweatshirt.
I heard there's a Nicki Minaj remix coming. There's going to be a lot of bleeped out words. Yeah.
Yeah, but
You gotta
that
say
is a
something about
diss
Mr.
track,
Grinch.
man. Talking smack about the guy. The whole song, not a nice
Oh,
word
yeah.
said about the
Not a nice word. Just, yeah, totally
Okay.
going hard against them. Yeah.
Okay, what do you got?
You're so vain.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And
Warren Beatty diss.
Morissette,
You want to know? Yes.
Full
good
House
one.
diss. Yeah. That's
Good ones.
all right. Yeah, those are good diss tracks.
No, those are good. That's valid.
You know, it wasn't the whole theater part. It was like, I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner. There was an interview. And he's like, oh, no, this is going to be about me. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Because that happened. Like, she called him and he was just kind of like, I'm in the middle of dinner. Can you call me back? And she was just like, I'm going to write a song about you. And that's
Yeah, you're
where it
screwed
went.
now,
He
kid.
was the original Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
Why do I think Madonna? Let's go to Brian, our Madonna expert. Does she have anything where she's called anyone out?
Marilyn Monroe, right? Didn't she?
Well, she
She shouted out Marilyn Monroe in Vogue.
or
and
Diamond.
she
The Diamond's
emulated
her
her.
best friend video part.
Well, that was more homage to. That wasn't.
Yeah, right.
at
For
all.
Material Girl.
Yeah. And she was there
Eminem was
for
the
a
king.
while.
She would seem like someone that would have called somebody out.
Eminem was the king of calling people.
Well, yeah, of course that is.
Oh, that's
how
diss
far
tracks.
back can we go with this stuff? You know.
Okay,
Right,
I'm-
right.
Yeah. That was kind of when that's when we all got wind of it. Was like, this, ICP and Eminem and DMX would come back and forth, and they'd all just have like every week there's a new diss track against somebody else. And
It's one thing for Sinatra to sing "The Ladies at Tramp," but he's not saying what lady's talking about.
Right.
A diss track is when you're calling them out specifically. Like, there's no.
But
question
can you
who you're
call them
talking
out
about.
without knowing? Like, you're so vain.
That's
think the person
it's cleverly done. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very tongue in cheek, very cleverly, well written, well penned.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
she
same
didn't,
with
she
You
didn't
Have
have to
Now.
drop any F bombs, and she still got her point across.
Oh, yeah.
People still talking about to this day. Well, who's she really talking about?
Because we know there are songs about things like Elton John, Philadelphia Freedom is about Billie Jean King's Philadelphia
Freedoms.
tennis
Yes.
team. So there are songs about
Great
things.
song, by the way.
Oh, it is. Philadelphia Freedom is
Awesome
a great
song.
song.
All bridges.
Is there a song earlier that actually calls out without it being like, what about Instant Karma by John Lennon? Does that call anyone specifically out?
I always thought that
No.
song was just about love, man. Just
I thought he was just bitch slapping a whole
Be-
bunch of
be
different
good and-
crews. Yeah.
I was when I hear that song, I think of instant karma. Be good to people. It's gonna come right back to you. That's what
Well,
that song.
does Gimme Shelter by the Stones call out the Hells Angels for the incident at Altamont?
I didn't think so.
I don't think so.
Some stupid with a flare gun burn the place to the ground. Hey, smoke on the water,
they're
right?
calling
So-
the guy out that burned down the studio in Montserrat. Frank Zappa and the Mothers had the only rig around.
right.
Some
Some
fool
stupid with a flare gun. Yeah.
burn the place to the ground.
Well, don't use pyrotechnics inside.
that was an
Hey,
actual
we still
event.
haven't learned 40 years later.
Yeah, that was an actual event.
Well, if you come up with something by next week,
We should do some
Talk
homework.
about
Let's
We got to do
yeah.
homework now.
We're gonna do a little homework on this.
This has
Come on.
become like an
about that.
HGTV show all of a sudden.
Tune in next week for the rest of our
yeah,
Let's embrace
nice
the
answers.
hate,
And if
study
you
the
have a
diss tracks.
diss track that we didn't mention, please put
right. Yeah, what did
the
we miss?
comments.
Just the obvious stuff. And of course, hip hop's full of them. We're talking about
that's what hip hop's based
early.
I'm better
stuff.
than yours. My car's better than
That's
your
all
car.
hip hop is.
My girl's better than your girl.
My dog's bigger than your dog. His name's King. And
That's absolutely.
yeah.
My genre didn't really do that. They were too busy talking about Last Night in the Hotel or
Yeah, threw the TV out the window and that stuff. Yeah.
Well, no, they didn't. It's not a diss.
Well, Sammy was about
Say
love.
Grand
David
Funk
was about
Railroad, American band, but they're not dissing.
Dave was about conquest.
Sweet,
Sammy was
sweet.
about conquering.
Connie.
Connie. Connie died.
He died last year, by the way.
Yeah,
Or the year
sad.
before.
Yeah, Connie died.
Cool. Hey, before we get out, do we hit sponsors tonight? I was not
thank
here.
you, John. Thank
No,
you
I
for
was just gonna
doing
say,
that.
if you
I was subtle.
Yeah,
by the
sure
way,
you were.
earlier.
You were gonna.
By the way,
Hey, man,
I
I may
was
be late,
subtle
but I'm
when I
always on
said,
point, right?
Oh,
I was just
There's
going to
John.
say, if you enjoyed the Sound of Music soundtrack tonight,
oh, geez.
So much.
brought to you by,
You know
Right.
the notes
Yeah.
to sing.
By
if
the
you
way, my
didn't-
subtle plug was earlier when John came up and I said, "Oh, it's John." I thought it was DJ Event Planner. That was my subtle little.
Oh, so what you did?
Nice.
I'll get me
Oh.
too.
DJ Van Planner,
Are we leaving?
all our other sponsors, you can have a look at them in the description of this video on YouTube. There's hyperlinks for them. Thank you so much for putting up with us for this hour. We had no topic, and
You never know.
it was fun.
and if you didn't enjoy
Or you
it,
ought to
they
know.
had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do there.
We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.